Hey there, Postal here. So today we're going to be hopping into the Tier 9, one of the three Tier 9 Soviet fighter planes. This is the MiG-9 on the MiG-15 line. Very, very good Tier 9 fighter. Let's go ahead and hop right in. So one thing that I actually struggle with on this plane is its ability to stay relevant. Is that even the right word? It tends to, it's very impactful and can be very impactful, but it also seems to be able to be kind of removed from the battle if it gets focused down. There's a lot of other planes out there, fighter planes specifically, that are pretty good at taking down the MiG-9. And so it can be a struggle in like a fighter-on-fighter battle. This plane is actually quite good at taking out like multi-rolls and pretty good at taking out heavies. The 37mm cannon that is on this hits like a Mack truck, which I don't know if Mack trucks hit planes very well. Maybe it hits like something even stronger than a Mack truck. Anyway, you can see when the 37mm is hitting there, when you've got it synced up, you really kind of just melt away with the hit points. Melt away. Thank you. It's not really the best dogfighter. Its maneuverability is pretty lackluster, but you get a lot of airspeed and you get a lot of altitude performance. Let's go ahead and use this gun where it's best used, which is taking out some of these heavy fighters, right? But it can be kind of annoying to try to get the gun on target. The 37mm specifically. You've got two 23mm cannons, which you should be used to at this point. They're the same kind of cannons that were on the I-250 before this. They're the same two cannons that are on the Yak-15. You get three of them on the Yak-19 and the Yak-30. They're the same cannons that are on the LA-15, but you get three on that. They're very similar to the 23mm cannons that are just throughout a bunch of different Soviet lines. And so if you've gone down any other Soviet lines, you should be used to these. So they're very nice. They're the more consistent of the guns on this plane, right? The 37 gets all the glitz and glamour. This one does all the heavy hitting, but it's a very, very short range. It's only 2,000 feet, which is what, less than 700, so 650 meters. I thought this J7 was going to be turning around a little bit quicker, so I was boosting away. But yeah, got that 37 on and took him out. Alright, so we've got an attacker on the enemy team. We definitely need to be wary of that plane. It's not quite as fast as this plane, but it's definitely more maneuverable. It doesn't have the same altitude performance, but its guns can be pretty devastating as 420mm cannons, so I definitely need to be mindful of that. So we're kind of moving in here. We've gotten a military base, which is obviously really important. They haven't gotten their military base yet, so let's go ahead and try to take this center zone. Don't know what happened to the attacker. Is he dead, or is he... I just can't see him. Ah, there he is. Let's see if I can get on target. Nope, he's already dead. We've got a DO 335 on our team as well, which is pretty good to have. I always like, when I'm in my fighters, I like starting up a battle and having a multi-role or a heavy fighter, basically anything but another fighter on my team. It allows me to focus on being a fighter. And what do I mean by that? Well, most fighters in this game... Oh, here's where I made a huge mistake. I should have gone for it, and I saw him. Should have gone for the other multi-role, the other Jawa. Instead, I went for the wrong Java and let the other wrong Java get behind me, and I died. But anyway, back to what I was saying. A fighter isn't really built to flip sectors. It can, obviously, but it's not going to have the same efficiency as a heavy fighter or even a multi-role GA bomber. It's very good at holding a sector. The MiG-9 is great at holding a sector, but getting new sectors can be kind of cumbersome. So it kind of just is what it is. Alright, so I spawned here. I figured maybe I could get this XP-72 knocked out. I think he's going to die before I get there, yeah. But it does allow me to defend against this RB-17, especially half-health RB-17. I'm going to be able to tear up pretty easily. Goodbye, sir. Thank you very much. So what are we going to do here? I think I'm probably going to head to the center. I'm trying... Half the game sometimes is like trying not to... I don't want to get air supremacy, right? Not that I mind winning, obviously, but I want to get some personal points. I don't also want to like throw the game by not doing what I need to do. So I'm trying to contemplate here what the best step for me to balance out doing well and winning the game is, and that would be heading to the center. So get up to a decent altitude. Every time we seem to get up to a decent altitude, everything tends to be below us. Again, everything's below us. You'll run into games that are like this sometimes, but you'll run into a lot of games where the fighting is done in high altitude, and this plane really excels at that, at being at the high altitude. It can be working at low altitude in a pinch. You just need to be aware of the planes that have great maneuverability. And obviously there's going to be... Got the sector. There's going to be a lot of multi-rolls down south down in the lower altitude just because that's where they hang out. But it's nice to be in a MiG-9 that can go up to 7,000 feet whenever it wants, really. We're not seeing it in this battle, but one of the weaknesses of the MiG-9 is its engine. Its engine gets knocked out quite a bit. I haven't gotten it knocked out in this battle, which is actually pretty surprising, but in the couple battles I had before this, it was going out all the time. And when you're in a plane like this, that relies on its altitude performance and definitely its speed, you get your engine knocked out and you're literally a sitting duck. And at the mercy of everybody else, especially the other fighters. So the squall line's in now. We've got a pretty significant lead on capture points. Let's go ahead and make it even more difficult for them to catch up by knocking out this bomber. We're at 9,000 feet. Ain't no thing. What is that? 2,500 meters. Let's head on down here and get behind this 1056. Relatively low health, so should be a quick kill. The 1056 though doesn't have the speed or the well, all it would have on me is speed, but it doesn't have the speed to get away. So I do like finding those when I'm in my MiG-9. So we've got this attacker here, way lower than I would normally be, and so I'm able to kind of surprise him from underneath. Let's go ahead and get a couple good hits in here, and bye-bye, sir. Alright, so now we've got this XP-72 coming in here. Let's see if we can get the center sector. And nope, he's moving away. Let's not waste any time. We've got these defense aircraft we can get knocked out. And again, heavy defense aircraft really are no match for this plane. The cannon, the 37mm cannon, especially at this range, if it hits, is really going to tear up these planes. Hello. It's 37mm cannon, right? Got him knocked out. Let's see what else is around here. Keeping an eye on the map. There's no enemy actual aircraft coming, so we can focus on the defense aircraft. I was contemplating turning with that guy, but it didn't make any sense. You're just not a turny enough plane. You're really built for speed and not maneuverability. And so let's get what we can knocked out. Can we get the center section? Yeah. And looks like the game's basically over. It is over at this point. And had a pretty good run in a pretty darn good plane, right? And you can kind of see, what the strengths of this plane are. It's not, luckily it didn't have any like super maneuverable planes, but even if we did, that we had to go against, we just use our speed and own them with our zoom and boom. And this has some pretty big boom on it, so really enjoyed this plane. I was kind of surprised, but MiG-9 is a great plane, so let's head on back. Alright, so we were able to get 17 frags out of that, about 7,500 damage to aerial targets, 1,300 personal points, so pretty solid all-around game. Had a lot of support from our heavy on the team, Chaz Steele, and just did what you needed to do in the MiG-9, which is what a lot of fighters are meant to do, right? Which is defend sectors when they need to. Supplementally take steps to capturing other sectors. You would think that the MiG-9, kind of like the MiG-15 at Tier 10 and the I-250 at Tier 8, because it's got that big 37mm cannon, you'd think it'd be pretty good at just kind of taking steps and actually being very aggressive as far as attacking is concerned, flipping sectors is concerned. What I've run into with the MiG-9 is, you've got that great cannon, which, it's a short-range cannon, but it hits so hard. The problem isn't the firepower that you have as far as your ability to flip sectors is concerned. For me, the problem tends to be your survivability. I've actually, and I'm going to change this, don't laugh at me. I've got, now granted it's stock, but I've got a engine armor protection on this. The engine gets knocked out all the flipping time. I feel like this is some sort of like Japanese rip-off plane. This feels like it's a Key 162 Type 1. Resistance to fire doesn't catch on fire all that much, but it catches on fire from time to time. It's really the engine. I get the engine knocked out all the time on this, and because of that, because once you lose your engine, you've lost your ace in the hole for this plane. It's really built for its airspeed and altitude performance and its ability to hit hard. You lose your engine, and you lose all of that. You don't have the ability to go up high. You're just a sitting duck. You're floating in midair, waiting for your engine to come back, and you're incredibly vulnerable. Because of that, it becomes difficult to be the aggressor in this airplane. Not impossible, but I think the plane is better suited for kind of attacking from out of nowhere, and doing kind of like hit and runs like you would in some heavy fighters. I may, and I think what I'm going to do is switch this out for resistance to fire. Do I really want to do that? Alright, so I'm probably going to do this. I am going to do this. You're watching me do this right now. And I believe I'm going to switch this out until I get specialized anyway. Switch it out for a manual restart. Let's go ahead and at least get this up to flipping advanced. I'm getting pretty close to... look at that. I'm getting pretty close to specializing this plane anyway. Once I get it specialized, I'll get my extra boost in here. And who the heck knows what I'll do here. It's just kind of a wasted space when it comes to its ability to keep its engine going. It's really quite frustrating. Then again, this is one of my lower pilot planes. I moved the pilot from this plane to the MiG-15. My cat's upset about that as well. Very upset. I should have kept it in this. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Anyway, I really like this plane. It's not that it's a bad plane. It's just it's a very extreme plane. There's not a lot of balance to it. You've got that great speed, that great altitude performance, a great hit and gun, but it can all go away very quickly because your plane can't take a hit, and it doesn't have the maneuverability to avoid a lot of hits either. So Anywho, I hope you enjoyed this video. Do you agree with my assessment on the plane? Have you gotten to the MiG-9? And if so, do you enjoy it? I enjoy it for sure. It's not a bad plane by any means. It's a very, very strong plane. You just have to be mindful of what's around you and definitely avoid those hits. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.